Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and in today's episode, the Australian second generation Ford Fairlane. Hello and welcome back. Now, if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. Yes, bit of a niche subject, but if you're interested in any of that, looking at cars gone by, looking at car brochures, of course, really bringing back those car memories, then please do consider subscribing. It is all completely free. Anyway, like I say, today's episode, I should say, is the Australian Ford Fairlane. Every Friday we look at a Ford. It's the turn of this model. So let's turn the camera around and have a look at this interesting brochure. So here we go, the Ford Fairlane. At the bottom here it says, a completely new world of quiet, Fairlane by Ford. Now this particular brochure is a little bit of an oversized brochure. If I put a more regular sized brochure on there, we can see it's certainly a lot wider than a standard size brochure. So like I said, an oversized brochure. Now this particular brochure is of course from Australia, and if I just turn to the back page, it gives us a date code there of March 1972. So yes, the Ford Fairlane. Now, a little bit of a note before I start this, I wasn't brought up in Australia, therefore I was never brought up seeing these cars around. I am a bit of a fan of them. I just like them for some reason, the Australian big Fords in the 70s, but I don't have a great as knowledge as I do about the UK Fords. So for sure, if there's any sort of Australian viewers watching this particular episode, hello and thank you for watching. And also, if you can give more information or if you need to correct me on anything, then please do. Always interesting to learn more about these lovely big cars. Now, 1972, so this would make this the second generation of the Ford Fairlane, the ZF, which ran from 1972 to 73, before they give it a little bit of an update. I think mainly cosmetic actually, for the ZG from 73 to 76. I think the main thing I've noticed is the grille was slightly different. They changed that front grille to 4 horizontal bar grills rather than this. Well, we'll zoom in, a more complex looking grille, I guess, and they changed the tail lights, but that's about as far as my knowledge goes with these. If I just zoom in a little bit further, we can see that lovely grille on these earlier versions. Anyway, we've got quite a bit to get through, so let's turn to the first page. So when we turn the first page, we start getting a little bit of a look at the interiors of these cars, and also a bit of 70s Australian fashion at the time. We'll read the text, we'll come back to this lovely image. It tells us, new Fairlane, the quietest world on the road, with a new kind of quiet engineered throughout from the very beginning. Quiet, built deep into the frame, the beautiful all new body, the new luxury interiors. Quiet, built into a superb ride with the longest wheelbase and widest track. Quiet, built into new high performing engines. Quiet, built in to last wherever you go in the noisy world, with more luxury, smoothness, prestige and hushed performance than ever before. New Fairlane, the perfect balance of size and proportions, value that just cannot be equalled, and an all new standard of design and engineering to put you even further ahead in the world of luxury motoring. And at the bottom here, quite simply saying, Fairlane, Australia's #1 prestige car. So then have a look at that large picture and have a look at that interior. And I do like it actually for the time period. Bit of a strip speedometer on there. Interesting. No sign of a rev counter as far as I can see. Looks like we get a radio though. And a little bit of what looks very fake looking wood, but may actually be the real thing. And what would have quite impressive at the time, you know, the dashboard curving round to meet the door card. And the door cards are something special. It does look like a very luxurious thick door card with these sort of continental style armrests on the doors and a carpeted lower. And yes, this could only be the 70s, couldn't it? So we turn the page and it starts introducing the trim levels. So this is the Fairlane 500 sedan, and actually there only appears to be two different trim levels at this time. But even in this more basic trim level, I do like the look of it. So we do get this bit of a very much a Ford of the 70s, so almost a bit of a like a cork bottle style design, but even more pronounced with these doors at the front there. And you often see this with Australian Fords. They went for these instead of just putting like a chrome mirror on there, which you would expect to see in Europe, in Australia they went for these colour match mirrors, which for European taste this seems more of an 80s thing, so that seems a little bit ahead of its time. And then we've got all this extra sort of bright work on there, and it looks like we've got a bit of a vinyl roof on there as well. But anyway, let's turn the page, see what else we can learn about this car. So we turn the page and we find what is the base model is extremely luxurious. It doesn't feel very base at all. And certainly we'll learn the difference between the two trim levels later on, but we'll start reading the text first. Actually, I'm saying this is the lower model, but a lot of brochures start with the higher model, so maybe the Fairlane 500 was the higher spec model, but we'll look at that in more detail because I've noticed even the brochure gets the two mixed up, which is the higher and the lower model. Anyway, we'll read the text, like I say, and we'll come back to this image. It tells us when you step into the Fairlane 500, you step into a luxurious, quiet world of motoring. The seating is superb, plush, contoured, upholstered in supple, pleated leather grain vinyl. Okay, so it's vinyl, is what we're saying. It's a vinyl seat, but they certainly do look like proper leather seats. Anyway, fold-away armrests front and rear. The individual front high-backed reclining twin comfort lounge seats are infinitely adjustable. Adding further to your comfort are these standard appointments: 2-speed blend air heater demister, airflow flow-through ventilation, electric clock, rear pillar reading lamps, deep pile wall-to-wall carpeting, deep padded throughout the entire interior. You glide along effortlessly with a silky 240 HP V8 engine, 3-speed select shift cruise-o-matic transmission, variable ratio power steering and big power disc brakes. Fairlane 500 quietly takes care of everything for you. Your own world of luxurious quiet. So everything goes on about how quiet this car is and then says it's got this huge V8 engine, so you tell me how quiet they were. Anyway, we'll have a look at that interior again. So again, very luxurious door card with all of the switches. I'm not entirely sure what they are. I was thinking they may be electric window switches, but they're a bit low for that, and there is 5 of them, so maybe that was the part of the electric seat adjustment. I'm not sure. But certainly a very luxurious door card. So the seats themselves look very luxurious and extremely comfortable. They are, they just look comfortable, don't they, in the seats? I'm sure they were actually. They do look leather as well, but like I say, it is telling us this is pleated leather grain and vinyl. Nice little place to rest your arm. Certainly you can see this is aimed at more the luxury market. But let's turn the page, see what else this brochure has to offer. Oh, and just before I do turn the page, the description for this particular Fairlane 500 tells us Fairlane 500 interior in parchment trim and with optional console armrest. Okay, so that little bit of armrest was an optional extra, and T-bar automatic shift and power windows. So we turn the page and this is the only other trim level. This is the Fairlane Custom sedan. And at first I thought we were going up the range, and indeed from first glance they look completely identical on the outside, particularly in this colour, but when you look a little bit closer, there are some subtle differences. Like we don't get the bright work around the wheel arches or at the bottom of the doors, and in fact, let's move the camera up there manually. Apologies for the funny noises it makes when I do that. And also around the windows, there's less bright work around there as well. So it looks like the custom sedan is one model down from the 500 at this time. Looks like we still got a vinyl roof though. We do get our first look at the rear of this lovely car. I do love the light treatment at the back there. It is overall a very nice example. And I'm starting to think this is possibly one of my favourite Australian 70s Fords actually. The other thing I really like about it, we've got the same wheel trims as the 500, same tyre treatment, and instead of a white wool tyre, we've got this sort of like red line going around. So a red wool tyre would be the right word. I don't know what the correct terminology would be, but I do like it with this sort of, I think it looks a lot nicer than a white wool tyre actually. Anyway, enough waffle, let's turn the page and learn a bit more. So we turn the page and we get some more lovely interior images, and again, it certainly looks a very high spec car, because remember the Fairlane was the luxury versions of these Fords. Possibly this time I think these might have been the top model in the Ford range actually, because I'm presuming this would have come before the even more upscale LTDs arrived in August 73, so these would have been the top models at the time, but obviously correct me if I'm wrong there. But yeah, lovely interior images. Them seats again look lovely. We'll look at the text and we'll come back to the images. It tells us inside and out, Fairlane Custom is in every way a luxury car. No car anywhere near its price gives you anywhere near the comfort, performance or standard of appointments. Deep cushioned, high-backed individual reclining front bucket seats, fold-away centre armrests, front and rear, deep power carpeting, 2-speed blend air heater and demister, air or flow-through ventilation, courtesy lights, cockpit type recessed. Instrument panel with new rocker switch controls. Performance starts with an extremely quiet, highly flexible 155 horsepower 6. Okay, so this has got a 6-cylinder, but I believe you could option it to have the V8 as well, with all synchromesh manual transmission. Oh, there you go. Big power. Disc brakes are standard. You can choose from 2 V8 engines, okay, you can, and add select shift cruise-o-matic transmission. You can, in fact, custom create your own truly unique luxury performance sedan from the extensive list of performance, extra comfort and appearance items on page 13 and 14. We'll have a look at them later. And the wording at the bottom there, Fairlane Custom, which is this model. So it looks like a lower spec model, but because it's a custom, you can custom make it however you want, I guess is the idea. Text telling us outstanding luxury at a surprisingly modest investment. So there is the look at the dash. I do quite like it. I like how it's like curving in for the passenger, and then we've got this sort of like binnacle curving round for the driver. We can also see this has obviously been option to have an auto transmission, and I would imagine this would have been an optional extra as well. This sort of armrest on there as well. Text telling us, the very small print tells us above, Custom's cockpit type instrument panel with optional radio and air conditioning. So you didn't even get a radio standard on this model. And then right, we've not actually got that for yet, so we'll come back to that in a moment. Moving down, there is our boot or trunk. It looks very, very large to take all of the suitcases. Look at the seats from another angle. It does tell us here below right, full width front seat optional on Custom. Okay, so you can get like a bench seat there on the Custom if you preferred. And then the main image telling us right, Custom interior with optional T-bar automatic shift and convenient custom armrest for storage of sunglasses, gloves and other personal items. So yes, this is an option auto as an option, and if we just zoom in a bit further, instead of those bank of switches, we are getting hand crank windows. So then we get a bit more details, and it kind of like breaks down the engines and transmission combinations. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. Interesting image here. Obviously the lines have been put on afterwards to show you speed, but again, another look at that rather attractive rear end, and this one in red. I presume that's your 500 badge there. Let's go on about quiet again. So the quiet performer. Quiet, there's no other word to describe the new world of luxury motoring. Quiet in outstanding smoothness, stability and flexibility. Quiet to carry you effortlessly with precision handling and total luxury under all driving conditions. New Fairlane's extraordinary Quiet is built in from the start. The smooth, easy performing 6-cylinder and V8 engines are built for quiet. The exclusive full-length torque box chassis and sleek all-new body are designed for quiet. The longest 116-inch wheelbase, widest track and even smoother suspension are engineered for quiet. And then we move to engine and transmission combinations. With each model you can choose from a wide range of engine and transmissions for the combination that's best suited to your own ideas of driving. The chart below shows you all the possibilities. So we'll look at the chart in a moment. First we'll look at the engines. So starting with a 256, standard in Fairlane Custom, smooth and highly responsive acceleration throughout all speed ranges. 155 horse, 240 pound-foot of torque at 1600 RPM, 931 compression ratio. Then there is another, oh sorry, I can say there's another 6, but we are moving straight to V8s now. So next one up is a 302 V8, standard in the Fairlane 500, optional in the Fairlane Custom. Big performance even by V8 standards to give you ample acceleration and power reserve in all speed ranges. For extra safe passing and effortless cruising, 240 horsepower, 305 pound-foot of torque at 2600 RPM, 951 compression ratio, 2-barrel carburetor. But there is another V8, the 351 V8. Again, it's optional on the Fairlane 500 and the Fairlane Custom. So even though that Custom appears to be a lower model, you can certainly, like it says, customize it to have whatever you want, even the top engine. It says a superb performance V8 for very special motoring. It gives you responsiveness and power that can't be equalled by any V8 engine luxury car near Fairlane's price. 260 horsepower, 355 pound-foot of torque at 2600 RPM, 971 compression ratio, 2-barrel carburetor. Then you get the two transmission options, or a 3-speed all-synchronous manual, standard in Fairlane Custom, smooth action with short positive lever movements, or the auto, the 3-speed select shift cruise-o-matic, standard in Fairlane 500, optional in the Custom, smooth and extremely flexible. You can use it as a manual shift and hold gears, or put the selector in drive and let the automatic take over for you. It is available on the steering column or in a console mounted T-bar form. Brakes standard on both models. At front, big self-adjusting 11.25-inch diameter power discs, ventilated and turbo cooled, so they're remarkably fade free. At rear, big self-adjusting 10-inch diameter drums with extra thick bonded linings. The height of the brake and accelerator pedal is aligned for effortless heel and toe driving. You don't have to continually lift and shift your foot in order to brake or accelerate. You also get variable ratio power steering, standard on the Fairlane 500, optional on the Custom. Gives you completely effortless handling and parking with precise instant response and a positive feel of the road in any situation. And then it is the little bit of a chart to see how you can pair them up. So the first one up, the 250 155 horsepower 6, is only available on the Custom. Standard is that 3-speed manual. Optional for the Custom, you could have the select shift automatic if you want. Looks like you can only have it as a column shift though. So next up is the first of the V8s, the 302 240 horsepower V8. Now this one, the first one up is a 3-speed fully synchronized manual. So you can get a manual on the V8, but you can only get a manual on that V8 in custom form. On the 500 you couldn't have it. So I guess if you wanted a manual V8 you had to go for the custom, and like I said, that would have been an optional. Now the 302 V8 of course you could have on the 500 there, but you had to have it as a cruise-o-matic or automatic, either as a column shift or a floor shift. Either are available. Now that moves us up to the biggest V8, the 351 I should say, 260 horsepower V8. These are optional both on the 500 and the Fairlane Custom, and you can choose, you have to be an automatic this time, either a column shift or a floor shift, but optional on both variations. So we move to our last page now, and it starts going through the standard and optional equipment you could have on either model. I think I'm going to start by going through these images first, and then we'll go down to see what you actually get on them. So first of all, we'll start with that very characterful and very good looking front end of these Fairlanes. I'm just going to manually move the camera over. Showing the radio. A few little switches. Like I say, are they seat adjustments or are they electric window adjustments? I'm not sure. But there's 5 of them, which we've only got 4 windows, so it suggests maybe these are seat adjustments. I don't know. So yeah, a little bit of a radio option. Nice to see a quarter light on there. Opening, of course. Gives us a look at the radio and the heating and ventilation. And looks like you could possibly option it to have a sunroof there as well. So we'll start with the Fairlane Custom Sedan. So you do get the V6 as your standard piece of kit with a 3-speed manual, 11¼ inch diameter turbo cooled power disc brakes, individually adjustable reclining front bucket seats trimmed in luxury vinyl, folding centre armrest front and rear, deep pile carpeting, 2-speed blend air heater demister, aeroflow flow-through ventilation system, courtesy lights on all doors, glove box lights, luggage compartment lights, cigar lighter, automatic steering transmission and ignition lock, smooth riding black sidewall tyres on a presumably a steel rim wheel, sound deadening and insulation materials completely surrounding the passenger compartment, even lining the roof, a dual tone horn and a lane change indicator. More standard equipment though on the Fairlane 500, so it comes standard with that 240 horse V8 with an auto transmission. Same disc brakes, variable ratio power steering, individual adjusting fully reclining high back twin comfort front seats with fold away centre armrest, individual contoured rear seats with fold away centre armrest, luxury quality upholsteries, padded front door armrests incorporating grab handles, deep pile carpet, 2-speed blend air heater demister, aeroflow flow-through ventilation system, courtesy lights all doors, reading lights in rear compartments, glove box light, luggage compartment light, cigar lighter, auto steering, transmission and ignition lock. The wheels are slightly larger by the looks of it, full wheel covers, special sound deadening and insulation materials completely surrounding the passenger compartments, even lining the roof, electric clock, dual tone horn, lane change indicator. Now interestingly, it looks like the brochure made a bit of a mistake here. It talks about the optional equipment. Later on, maybe at the dealer, they had to stick a sticker on here because originally underneath this sticker it said the Fairlane Custom at this side and the 500 at this side. So they did get the two mixed up and had to put a sticker over it. But it goes through the optional equipment. So we get a sliding steel sunroof, optional on both. Integrated air conditioning, optional on both. Stereo radio tape player with 4 speaker system, optional on both. 11 transistor push button radio with center sports console with armrest, floor shift only, all optional. Nylon weave cloth seat trim, optional on both. Maybe that might have been a good idea in the hot Australian sun. Full width front seat with folding armrest, not available on the 500, but you could option on that one on the Custom. Vinyl roof in choice of black, beige, green, brown or blue, optional on both. Two-tone paint with a white roof, optional on both. Laminated graduated tint windshield, optional on both. Tinted side and rear windows, optional on both. Remote control styled exterior driver's mirror, standard on your 500, optional on your Custom. Passenger side styled exterior mirror, optional on both. Power windows, optional on both. Quarter vent front windows, optional on both. I'm definitely choosing those. Safety belt warning light and front seat belt locking retractors, optional on both. Electric clock, standard on the 500, optional on the Custom. Variable ratio power steering, standard on your 500, optional on your Custom. High ride suspension system, optional on both. Heavy duty dust protection package, comprising heavy duty air cleaner, engine stone guard, fuel tank guard, heavy mounting for rear shock absorbers, optional on both. I guess if you was out in the outback, maybe that was a good option. Protection group as well, comprising front and rear overriders with black rubber inserts, full length body side mouldings with black vinyl inserts, optional on both. Styled full wheel covers, standard on your 500, optional on your Custom. So that image showed those on there, but that was an optional for your Custom model. Dual exhaust system, 302 and 351 engines, optional on both. Limited slip differential, optional on both. Super duty shock absorbers, optional on both. That moves us to the standard safety features. Every Fairlane Custom and Fairlane 500 includes all of the Ford safety features listed below. High back twin comfort front lounge seats, collapsible steering column, impact absorbing steering wheel with full width padded hub, deeply recessed padded instrument panel with rocker switch controls, padded sun visors, padded door pull armrests, recessed interior door handles, flush mounted exterior door handles, windshield mounted breakaway anti-glare interior rear view mirror, exterior rear vision mirror, 2-speed electric windshield wiper with non-lift, non-reflecting wiper blades, push button 4-jet programmed electric windshield washers, thick safety plate glass windshield with tough zone area in front of driver and safety glass all round, slim design front and centre pillars for greater vision, dual hydraulic brake system with warning lights, safety rim wheels, seat belts front and rear, high intensity dual headlights, 2 long beam, 2 short, wraparound front turn indicator lights, rear fender side marker lights and reversing lights. It then moves on to paint and rust proofing. Your Fairlane comes to you with an exclusive rust proofing and paint process for a higher quality and more durable finish. Includes a new electrocoat primer application, the most advanced system of complete undercoating in the automotive industry, electronically controlled. It guarantees 100% coverage on both the inside and outside of every part. All tyres are performance rated by the Australian rubber manufacturers and are fitted on double-sided safety rim wheels. It tells you the different wheel sizes between the 500 and the Custom, and also gives you the different tyre options as well. And if you look right at the bottom there is an option for that red sidewall on there as well. Not going to read all this, but they are your dimensions for both models. Warranty protection of 12,000 miles or 12 months, whichever comes first. Dealer service and parts, backed by over 400 Ford dealers. Usual thing, we can change things at any time, and some of the images have extra optional extras at extra cost. At the bottom here is Fairlane Ford and the date 3/72, and then finally we do get a really nice image of the rear of a 500. Do like the rear light treatment, it does look good with the Ford along that sort of reflect area. Looks a very good looking car from the back. This one's got a white vinyl roof on there, very nice, very classy. I do like that, and a little bit of a 500 badge there. And then finally, looks like Ford of Australia had a little bit of a tagline at the time. Going Ford is the going thing. There we go, the lovely Aussie Ford Fairlane for 1972. What a wonderful thing. Please share your knowledge of these lovely cars. If you had one, how did you get on? Even if you've got one now, please let me know about it. Very interested to learn more. These are fast becoming my favourite Australian Fords. But thank you so much for watching today. We'll end as we always do by saying, if you've not done so already, please do consider becoming a subscriber. It is completely free. Now over 800 episodes. I'll also include a couple more videos here if you want to continue your viewing of Quarterlight videos. But like I said, if you go to the Quarterlight main page, over 800 examples. So I'm sure there is plenty for you, and quite a few Australian Fords on there, and indeed other Australian cars on there too. But thank you so much for watching today. Please do take care. We'll see you again very soon. All the best and goodbye.